today I just wanted to make a video about some things that I wish I knew before moving abroad. If you didn't know, which I'm assuming most of you guys don't because I barely lived abroad in Thailand for nearly 2 years now. And these are just some of the things that I wish somebody had told me or that I wish that I had realized before I moved abroad. Do I regret moving? No, of course not. However, I do regret some of the steps I took in the process of moving abroad, if that makes sense. So the first thing that I regret is packing my entire closet. So I bought a really large suitcase. In fact, I'm trying to get rid of it now because I have no use for it anymore. And I honestly just want to go backpacking now, and so I'm trying to get rid of the suitcase. New wardrobe, a bunch of toiletries, like shoes, hat, books, things that I did not really need here. So much so that my bag was actually overweight on the flight here, and I had to pay overweight fees because of my bag. And then it took a long time to claim my bag because they had moved it into this corner of the airport where they put overweight things and no one knew where my bag was, and so it caused this big fuss at the airport when I actually arrived here. In reality, your style is going to change. I don't dress the way that I do here in Thailand the way that I used to in America. One, because the temperature is different. I'm from Georgia, so the climate's basically the same as Thailand. However, we do have winters and we do have falls, and so I didn't need to bring as many long sleeve shirts. I didn't need to bring any shoes that really weren't flip-flops or the Tevas or Chacos, the heavy duty sandals. I really didn't need, well, no, and one pair of sneakers, definitely because I go to the gym and work out. But all the other things that I bought, one, my style has changed so much since moving here, so I really didn't need all those clothes. Two, I'm not the same weight that I was when I moved here. People in different countries have different style preferences, and when you move to a new country, you tend to dress the way the local people dress a bit more. For example, if you move to South Korea, or you're currently living in South Korea, then you know that people in South Korea dress really differently from the way that Americans do. So definitely reconsider downsizing your luggage. The smaller the better. You will buy new clothes. Also, please skip out on bringing the toiletries. I wish somebody would have told me this. This is my first time moving abroad. I didn't know anybody who had moved abroad before. Like I said, I'm from Georgia. I'm from a small town in Georgia at that, and so nobody that I knew had lived in a different country for an extended period of time. The most anybody had done was really go on a cruise to the Bahamas for 1 week. So there wasn't really anybody I could ask for advice on this. But don't bring toiletries like toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, things that they have in most countries in the world. So the fact that I overpacked my suitcase with that stuff really makes no sense looking at it in hindsight. So please don't make that mistake. As you guys can tell, I do have curly hair, so I need special hair products. I wish I would have bought more of those. So I wish I would have downsized on the amount of soap and lotion and toothpaste that I bought, and actually bought more hair products that were working my hair. I've since found things that have worked for me, and so I'm kind of over it now. But doing the transitioning phase of trying to find things that would work for me, especially in a country where the majority of the people have straight hair, and I clearly have a hair type that's so different from the rest of them. Oh, in this case, so number two, this one's a big one, and it's one that's still causing me problems to this day, 2 years after I left the US. Update your personal accounts. Okay. So here's the story. I'm currently locked out of my PayPal account because they recognize I'm trying to log in from a new country. So I log in, I reset my password, it's fine. Then they ask me to either receive a text message or input my credit card number. One, that phone is registered to my US number. I don't use that US number anymore because I live in Thailand. Two, that credit card that I had was my old American one. It expired. I left it in the US, or I cut it up and threw it in the trash. The point is I don't have it. And so I've been going back and forth with PayPal trying to unlock my account because I didn't think ahead to reset my PayPal information so that I would remove that old card, remove that telephone number, maybe put in my mom's telephone number. That way she could have just received the text message and told me the number. So definitely do that. It applies to pretty much all other accounts. Like, I've gotten locked out of my email before because they wanted me to verify my identity through text message. Like I said, I don't have my US number anymore. I got locked out of like social media accounts before. Luckily, I've been able to fix all those situations except for the PayPal one. I'm still in the process of trying to get access to my PayPal again. So the third thing that I wish that somebody would have told me earlier, I eventually figured this out. I want to say it took about 3 or 4 months before I figured this out, but it would have been better at the start, is to not think of things in your own currency. It does not matter if that is only 10 euros. It does not matter if that is only $10. It does not matter if it's only 10 pounds. Why? Because the people in your new country don't use that currency. And $10, 10 pounds, 10 euros might be overpaying. It might be a lot of money. For example, 10 is about 350 baht, I think, right now. That is a lot of money in Thailand. I could get so much with that. I could get like 3 to 4 meals. I could get like a bus from here to some other city that's far away. Like, it's a lot of money, where in the US I could barely get anything with $10. Learn what a fair price is and learn to think of things as in the new currency for what is expensive and what is cheap. Learn that as soon as possible, preferably before you even arrive here. There's plenty of things that you can look at on the internet for what things are usually priced. But if you just choose to wait until you get here, definitely start sooner than later. Number 4, that I wish I would have known before I moved abroad. This one mostly relates to Americans because we're like one of the only countries that has a system like this, is to make sure you pay off student loans or credit card loans before you move abroad. And so luckily I never had a US credit card, so I never got any debt from that. But student loans is definitely one that I do have, and definitely one that I would have thought of paying off before I moved here. Like I said, if you're not American, maybe this does not apply to you. Americans are really one of the only countries that I know of where students acquire so much debt before they even start working. So please, if you're just recently graduated from university or you still currently have debt, please try to pay that off as soon as possible before moving abroad. Or if you're like myself, like I moved abroad before I paid it off, and I'm still trying to work out how I'm gonna finally get rid of that ball and chain that holds me down to the US. And another thing that I wish somebody would have told me before I moved abroad is that language learning is a lot harder than it looks. If you have prior experience studying the language, let's say you studied Japanese in university and now you want to move to Japan to hopefully become fluent, or maybe just practice, or maybe because you just really love the country, then obviously you're going to have a lot easier time. But if you move to a country where you have no prior experience with the language and that it sounds nothing like your native language, it's going to be a lot harder. The best advice that I can offer for that is to speak the local language as much as possible and to have local friends. So when I first came here, when I first came to Thailand, I lived in a very small rural town in a part of Thailand where tourists do not go to. It's called Isan. It's like the northeastern portion of Thailand. It's really beautiful there. The people there are so nice. Things are like dirt cheap there. But I lived there, and of course the English skills were a lot less than where I currently live, which is now in a very touristy area. And like my Thai got so much better when I lived there compared to now. Like, I would say that when I lived in that rural town, I was learning a new word every single day, whereas now I live in a very touristy place and I like learn maybe 1 word a week. Something that's, so like my ability to speak the language and learn the language has gone down quite a bit. But definitely know that learning a new language is difficult. It takes time. Even if you already speak multiple languages, like I already speak multiple languages, like English is not the only language I speak, and I still have issues learning this new language. So don't beat yourself up if it's not coming as easily as you think it might to you. Speaking of language learning, another thing that I wish somebody had told me before I moved abroad is that it's nowhere near as easy as the movies make it seem. Like, you guys have all seen a movie where somebody decides, oh, I want to move to France and live out my French fantasies, and they just get on a plane and they go, and then they just set up their lives, they find an apartment, then they have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and everything's just perfect. There's no real difficulty there. And reality isn't really not like that. It's really not that easy. Number one, you have to figure out what visa you're going to get on. So just to keep that in mind, do research on what visa you're going to need, how much is it going to cost for that visa, what are the terms, like is it for 1 year, is it for 2 years, can you renew it, can you not, can you only renew it a certain amount of times, is there a pathway to citizenship, is there not a pathway to citizenship. So since we're on the route of things not being easy, we talked about how learning a new language might not be that easy, we talked about how the visa situation may not be that easy. Let's talk about other things that may not be that easy, and that is making friends, okay? So of course when you move to a new place, you're going to eventually find people you have things in common with. It doesn't matter, every place in the world has people who are interested in something that you're interested in. But just the small cultural things that make creating friendships and relationships a bit more difficult. Like you might know people who are in an international relationship, like they might be from the UK and their partner's from Germany, or if they're from Germany and their partner's from Brazil, or whatever the mix might be, that have some issues in their relationship because of the cultural differences that they have to try and work out. And it's the same way with friendships. And so the final thing that I want to talk about, the final thing that I wish somebody would have warned me about before moving to a new country, like I said, I didn't really know anybody who had moved to a new country before, being from a small town in Georgia, is that the novelty of the new place wears off. When I first moved here, everything was so exciting, like, oh my god, this food, oh my god, this music, oh my god, the people are so nice, oh my god, this beach is beautiful, oh my god, the mountains, oh my god, all these different things. But now I just kind of see it as part of my daily life, and you will too, no matter what country you move to. If you're moving from the US to Japan, if you're moving from Japan to Brazil, and you stay there for an extended amount of time, eventually the novelty of the place is just going to wear off, and it's just going to become routine in daily life. No matter how exciting the life or the things that you're seeing might be to other people, they will eventually become just every day for you. And so those are some of the things that I wish that people would have told me before I moved abroad. In no way is this everything that I wish I would have known. Like God, if I make a video about that, that would be like 40-60 minutes long, if not more. It would be a complete film. It will be a straight up documentary at that point. But I really hope that my video helps some of you guys. If you're considering moving abroad, definitely do it. You will not regret it. Honestly, it's a life-changing experience. Even if you move to the country and don't like your new country, just putting yourself out there and learning how to adapt to new cultures, new people, new languages is worthwhile. So even if you only stay there for 6 months and you're like, oh, I hate this, I'm out, I'm bye. Like, it doesn't matter. You still learn something. You still gain something from that experience. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.